Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the January 21st meeting of the Economic Development Authority of the City of Lynchburg. We are now in session. I will go through the roll call for the benefit of anyone on the call and for Mr. Craddock. Mark Stroh-Snyder is here. Bill Lovern. Bill Lovern.
He's there. He's muted.
I am here. I'm here and I'm muted. I will unmute it.
Louise Mitchell.
Here.
Georgianne.
Here.
John Stone.
Here.
Andy Mueller.
Oh.
Brings back memories.
Not here. And I'd like to welcome Miss Patricia Mosby. I understand you go by Pat. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Pat, welcome to the meeting. Welcome to the board.
Thank you. Thank you.
Look forward to having you with us. And Margette, has Miss Mosby been officially sworn in and
Yes, she has.
double secret probationed and is now a voting member?
Yes, she is.
Great.
Margette, Mark.
Yes, Ted.
The statement of economic interest form, the statute says that before assuming office, that form must be filled out and submitted to the clerk of council.
Okay. And Pat, have you filled out a statement of economic interest? Do you know?
I received it and Alicia told me I need to get it back to her by February 1st.
That's correct. And so thank you, Ted, for keeping us straight. I don't know that Alicia knew that had to be completed before. I think Alicia was under the impression that, Pat could participate after she was sworn in, and that used to be the way that it is. So Pat, no pressure on you today. You can listen to all of this, and it may be somewhat overwhelming, but we'll, all the members of the authority are filling out those forms. Those forms are a little bit of an issue because all of the authority just filled them out in August.
Okay.
And now they are due annually, on February 1st. So they're having to fill them all out again.
And I'm sorry as I can be. Several people have asked the legislature to change the rules on this. The form is pretty onerous.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
But we are stuck with it for the time being. So,
Well,
sorry.
can I just suggest that I back out of this one and let me get the paperwork in?
Well, we would like for you.
We'd love for you to stay and listen, Pat.
Okay. All right. And I'll work on the paperwork.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you just don't officially vote yet, but the sooner that you are, hear these things and know about them, the better. So if you can, you can stay, and I know I grabbed you at the last minute, so I absolutely appreciate you more than you know, and we'll get all that taken care of, but you'll be onboarded quickly.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And Pat, because we're doing everything virtual, anytime there is a vote, we actually go through a roll call. If we were here in person, we would just show hands or whatever. I will not be calling on you for the vote. So it's nothing personal, but it'll just eliminate that and keep it simple for the minutes.
Understood.
Just for this meeting.
Okay. Understood.
Okay. And speaking of minutes, this is a nice segue. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes of the December regular meeting and the specially called December 22nd meeting in December?
Sure have.
Would anyone like to make a motion to accept those minutes?
Yes, Bill Lovern makes the motion to accept and approve the minutes of the December 15 and the December 22nd meetings.
Great, thank you, Bill. Do we have a second?
This is Louise, second.
Thank you, Louise. All right, We'll go through roll call to accept those. Mark Strohsnyder is a yes. Bill Lovren made the motion.
Yes.
He's a yes.
Yes.
Louise Mitchell,
Yes.
Georgianne Sneed,
Yes.
John Stone,
Yes.
and Andy Mueller is not with us yet. Okay. Margette, would you like to bring us up to date on the Central Virginia Training Center encumbrance request?
Right, so you all voted to, in March of 2020, which seems like 10 years ago, to encumber $30,000 to participate in the master plan that the Lynchburg Regional Business Alliance is putting forth for the old Central Virginia Training Center site. And Megan has come forward. I sent you all the information on that. I sent you the link to the master plan, how far that it has come and all the information with that. I sent the answers to the questions I thought, trying to anticipate what your questions may be on that. Megan is at the point where she is paying as she goes for this master plan. And so she has requested that you all had voted that the $30,000 would be the last in after she had raised the 500,000. But she is asking that you release that now so that she can continue on with work on that plan. I think a lot of the work that you would need to make a case to the state or to work with a developer, you know, they're well on the way to, you know, community input and what people would like to see happen there.
All right. Would anyone like to make the motion to release those funds to the LRBA?
I will, John Stone. Since they've already started, they've made a lot of progress. I don't see any point in withholding the funds. It doesn't do any good at this point in time to withhold. So I would move that we release the 30,000.
Is there a second?
Bill Lovren, second.
Okay, motion's been made and second. We'll do roll call vote. I did not vote in favor of this to begin with, so I'm going to vote nay. Bill Lovren,
Yes.
Louise Mitchell,
Yes.
Georgianne Sneed,
Yes.
John Stone.
Yay.
Okay, motion carries. Next item on the agenda, Mr. White, if you're with us,
Good morning.
update us on the
Morning,
CARES
Tim.
community funding.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. You're not going to believe this. There's no performance agreement attached to this agenda item this month. I know you're stunned and it might be a little overwhelming, but
Thank you, Chen.
we're not going to ask Chair Strohsnyder to sign anything today. I do not believe. Of course, you've all reviewed your minutes from the 22nd, and you know that. Thank you for calling your emergency meeting. The big action item from that meeting, of course, was to extend care to persons experiencing homelessness through March 31st, through an agreement that you've already executed. I did want to give one clarification. You probably read it in your summary. That Miriam's House, who's executing this agreement, is able to use 10% of the funding for program administration. That's consistent with what all of the other nonprofits that you executed agreements with have done. I got a call from Sarah Corantoto, who's the executive director. She just wanted to clarify that through, as part of the service for providing hotel vouchers for persons experiencing homelessness, they pay an on-call stipend to a staff member that provides 24/7 access to the persons in need of care. Staff views that as a service. We have understood that to be a service and not part of the administration of the grant. I just want to clarify that with the EDA. If you feel differently, then we can go and clarify that further in the agreement. But we feel like that's the way that's been executed, not only with the previous voucher program, but with the ones that would be issued in the future through community development block grants. So I'll pause there to see if there are any questions about that. And if there are none, then I'll go on to the updates from last year. Okay, since there are no questions about that, I'll let Miriam's House know that that's our understanding of the agreement as well. Speaking of Miriam's House, this report is a lot about just touting the success of the work you did to swoop in and be able to execute these agreements on a moment's notice and continue to do that for several months. As a result of your agreement with Miriam's House, you paid a little over $7,600 through your performance agreement. That assisted, so their notes are that in 2020, 7 households became homeless due to a loss of income as a result of homelessness. Those households were in emergency shelter, and 4 of them exited to housing prior to December 31st. So your agreement housed 4 families or 4 households. They were assisted with security deposit, first month's rent, and utility deposits. Their average length of time of homelessness was 28 days. And here's the really great news. All 4 of the households who exited into housing had a source of income at the time of their move, which is just huge, right? And we talked about this in terms of the workforce for the city. This tells us a lot about that story. 3 of those households continue to be in housing search, or those are the 4. The 3 who continue to be in housing search, we are continuing to work with them, or Miriam's House is continuing to work with them, and we hope to be able to house them through the community development block grant once that housing is secured. But because of your work, we were able to buy additional time and additional resources through the community development block grant program. So I hope you're all as pleased with that as I am. For big numbers, your performance contract with Interfaith Outreach Association, which provided utility assistance, at the final total of that, you recall that they came back and even had asked for additional funding due to the need. They ended up issuing $176,000 worth of program assistance to 250 households in the city of Lynchburg. Just again, incredible work. This is for water. This is just to keep lights on, water, gas, that's what. And then LNCAG, you recall that those numbers were pretty slow. The number of clients were pretty slow at the beginning, and we were assured by LNCAG that the demand was there and that we were seeing it. At the end, they ended up allocating their entire $75,000 agreement that you executed with them. As a result of that, they provided rent assistance to 28 households, mortgage assistance to 3 households. And you recall that they were the original executors of the hotel voucher program for persons experiencing homelessness. In that short time where we filled in the gap funding during the month of December, you assisted 21 households who were experiencing homelessness and provided 31 with additional emergency assistance, core supplies, while they were working through that transition. Again, really big numbers, really important work for our community and for the workforce of our community. And I think we've got some real good evidence that maybe that work will sustain going forward. happy to answer any questions you got. And again, I really appreciate your patience working through all of that. And again, I'm really excited for you not to have anything to execute today.
Kent, with the second round of PPP coming out, are there any areas that Miriam's House or Lynn CAG may benefit, Interfaith Outreach may benefit from this second round, or is it all strictly for individuals or
Yes,
individual
sir.
businesses?
We have, typically businesses initiate those applications. So we'll see if that's the case. The three agencies are receiving CARES funding. A couple of them are receiving it directly from the state through the Department of Housing and Community Development. And the other two are receiving it through Community Development block grant funding, which again, your work allowed us to save that funding to make it available this program year.
Great.
So the work will continue.
Does anyone have any other questions for Kent?
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Yeah, I
Ken.
just want to get a plug in here that Melissa has exerted a Herculean effort throughout this whole thing, and especially as it relates to the community funding piece of this. I mean, she's pretty much the nucleus of all of this. She collects everything. She and Melva Walker, Melva goes through everything, which I can tell you are, armloads of paperwork and invoices and all of that. And Melva approves it, and Melissa gets it all ready to go. So can't thank her enough. She's behind the scenes, and she cares deeply about this this program. And so I just want to give her a shout out. I mean, she's done this for the whole CARES Act. She's been the driving force from the very beginning in trying to get the account set up and staying on top of all that. So
Thank you.
Melissa, we really appreciate your efforts, but even more than that, you can put your head on the pillow at night knowing that you personally have helped this many people in their community.
Here, here.
Thank you for saying that, Margette. Yes, Melissa especially. I mean, the amount of requests that come in and the timing of this has been overwhelming for any normal person. Fortunately, Melissa Disman is a superhero. So thanks so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Melissa.
I hope she's able to hear this because I'm using her iPad right now.
She's back on. She can hear you.
Okay. All right, moving on, Margette, if you're
Yeah.
ready with the staff report.
So I just let y'all know that Andy texted me, and his father's been hospitalized in North Carolina. So he had to miss the meeting this morning. But
Sorry.
anyway,
Sorry
he
to hear
sends his regrets, and I told him we would, our thoughts are with he and his dad. Okay, so obviously there's been a lot that has gone on from the CARES Act and being the conduit for all of that. Anna has done an incredible job, as have all of the staff members here have been given assignments to make sure that the CARES money that was granted to the Economic Development Authority for these business recovery grants, that enough people knew of it. And I've bragged about it and talked about it before, but I don't know of any municipality that went to the links that we did to have the public be aware, the business community be aware that this money was available. It's been very touching, the thank you notes and things that we have gotten from businesses and nonprofits concerning this. But all of that work, and now, the audits and all the rest of it begins, which may be more onerous than the actual disbursement of the funds. Also, we jumped in with the CARES money, and thanks to Kent and the long-term recovery team, which I'm really proud to be a part of, we purchased heaters, we and every other municipality in the world, purchased heaters which have not arrived yet, but we are constantly being told they're en route, for 23 restaurants to try to help them extend their serving area or their ability to seat people outside. So that was another, $15,000 in those heaters. And we, as I said, we hope to receive those at any time. We are really, really busy from the economic development side of the house. I will tell you that I have been busier with requests for space, with talks of expansions. So it's really hard sometimes, other than wearing a mask all day and having no people to talk to in my office. They're all behind closed doors. You'd be hard pressed to know that there was a pandemic. It's unbelievable. Mitch and I had a call really early this morning to talk about that. When you start to look at the numbers, you might do better to compare those numbers to 2019 to get a fair assessment than to, anything that we projected to lose in 2020. Doesn't mean the world's all rosy. It just means there's a new normal and money comes from different sources. And I've always said, this data that we are so focused on right now needs to continue after the pandemic is under control, because it tells a story, and that story needs to be paid attention to, of how the city deploys resources and the facilitations and collaborations that they have in the future. That'll be the topic of council's retreat at the end of the month. We are working on, for the tourism side of things, we are working on digital kiosk. That was part of the CARES Act money that we received, is these touchless, they have the ability to be touched in the future, but for right now, touchless kiosks, which are things that we would have probably never have been able to afford. But we, Anna and Emmeline, have worked on this to deploy these kiosks to let people know about all the amenities, and all of this will help our hospitality industry recover in 10 different places across the city. So at all the colleges, at Central Health, at the attractions, the museum, Old City Cemetery, places like that. So we're working on doing an RFP to get those done. We did one and we didn't get any, Anna, correct me if I'm wrong on that. We didn't get any real bids on that, but we're going back out to do that again. And part of that was wrapped up in that finance was looking at putting a kiosk in so that people could make their payments to the city with a kiosk there. So we have lots of things going on there. The Office of Economic Development and Tourism is now the new point of contact and coordinator for special events in the city. So we will be hiring, Sharon Brown retired in Parks and Rec, and that function was moved over to our office in December. So we'll be hiring somebody for that position probably in the next 3 or 4 months. The blueprint reset, which we went out to the business community to ask what they felt like they needed and what we should be focused on as we come out of the pandemic. How do we prepare, how do we become more resilient? how do we focus our efforts? And I got 75 people in the business community to respond to that. So the blueprint reset, which is really pared down, very, very streamlined, but I believe it is hard hitting of the things we'll be focused on. And that is set to go out in the next week or so to everybody. So all of that input, everything that we've looked at and done, we will be setting up for our own performance management deliverables for the next year to 18 months. So that reset will go out. Residents, we will begin the work with Residents Consultancy that on the city brand this Friday. So we've got a steering committee coming together to begin that work on Friday. And if any of you are interested in participating, I think John is going to participate. We'll send you a link to that. The meeting's at 8 o'clock. The kickoff meeting's at 8 o'clock on Friday. And we are working with the museum system, which you also know is under our office, to relocate the visitor center to the museum. And for when that is able to open again. So instead of having people go to the visitor center and then sending them off somewhere, and especially when you need to continue to have social distancing. And from a staff perspective, we felt like that was a wise choice to move that function to the museum. The museum is not open to the public nor is City Hall, but as soon as that feels like something that is safe to do, that is what our plan is. And we have at least one, and maybe there'll be more. Ted and I are working with Virginia Metal Treating. They have been, they bought property from you all off on Lynchpin Lane in the Ivy Creek Innovation Center. They wrote to me in December. We had been working with them to put together an incentive package for what they're going to do there. And they wrote to me in December to tell me that their original plans, they had more than doubled what their capital investment was going to be. And so I'll be bringing an updated, as soon as they get back to me, I'll be bringing the incentive committee an updated summary on what their CapEx is going to be. They have doubled their CapEx, not only in the building, but also in the machinery and equipment that they're going to add. So that is very exciting. So I'll be bringing that forward. I was hoping to get it today, but I didn't. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Margette.
You.
So anyone have any questions for Ms. Upshur or any of the other staff? Okay, and does not appear we have any items for closed session.
That's correct.
Does anyone have anything else to add or to be discussed?
And Mark, can I just say at the bottom of your agenda is where we talked about the statement of economic interest. So you all should have all gotten that form from Alicia. And I'm sorry, I didn't realize she was sending it out. Alicia's new as the clerk of council. And so we have a little, sometimes there's a gap there in the side that, I'm staff to you all, and I like to give you a heads up if something's going to land on your lap from the city. But that training is the conflict of interest training is every 2 years, and you can do it online. Anna has provided the link to that on your agenda. But those statements of economic interest, I know you all just did them in August, but that was a stopgap, and they're due on February 1st, and they're due annually now. And like Ted said, all of the economic developers are trying to work with the legislators to, to see what can be done, if anything, on how onerous this form is, and how often it all needs to be completed. And is it a look back year, or is it, what some of it's just not really clear. So if you have any questions about any of that, some of you've already turned yours in, I understand, but it is due on February 1st, and it does have a fine associated with it. So if there's anything that any of us can do to help with that, just let us know.
And Ted, didn't we all we've all basically done the training last year? Isn't that what we went through when we were in the council chambers? Wasn't that part of Walter's presentation?
Yeah, it is. And the interesting thing about the training, there is no requirement. There's no sanction if you don't do the training. It says no penalty shall be imposed on an elected official or an executive director or a member of an industrial development authority for failing to complete a training session. So the important thing is to get your statement filed, and then to take the, they want everybody to take the training session, but the statute says there's no penalty. So it's not the $250 failure to file. It's the training session, and I've looked at it. It's not bad. It's not anything like the statement of economic interest.
Okay.
All right. Our next called meeting will be February the 18th, 2021, and we can all assume that will be via Zoom, a virtual meeting. Hopefully everybody is having a chance to get in line to get your vaccines, and so we can get back in person here before the end of the year. That would be nice.
Hey, Mark, can you do me a favor? And for Pat's benefit, can y'all just all go around the room and introduce yourselves?
Oh, sure.
Just
Sure.
just so she, has an idea of everybody. Y'all got the benefit of me, letting you know about her, but and just tell her, where you work out in the community, just so she has an idea of the Hollywood Squares here.
Okay. Pat, I'm Mark Strohsnyder. I'm a commercial lender here in the city, and I've been here for 30 plus years. I'm with Frontier Community Bank, and I've been on the board, God knows, I don't know how long now.
8 years.
8 years.
Okay.
I think it had been a 10 years.
Louise?
I'll go next. I'm Louise Mitchell. I'm a small business owner. My brother and I have a couple of businesses. And Mark, I can top your years. I have been on the board 12 years. This is my last year. I'm on my last session. I also do other volunteering in the community. I belong to Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, which is also a volunteer organization.
Mm-hmm. Nice to meet you.
Georgianne? Georgianne?
Sorry, had to unmute. I'm Georgianne Smith. I work for a manufacturing company in Lynchburg. We do electronics manufacturing, and I have been on the board for maybe this is my 4th year. So welcome.
Okay. Thank you. It's nice to meet you.
Bill Lovern?
And I'm Bill Lovren. As you I was away from Lynchburg for about almost 50 years. Grew up here,
Okay.
left, swore I'd never come back. Came back, couldn't be happier. Came back about 10 years ago, retired. I've been on the board probably about 6 years or so, and couldn't be happier to be back in the city. But welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
John?
Hey, Pat, my name's John Stone. I am an investment advisor here in town. Office is downtown. And nice to meet you. Glad to have you with us.
Thank you. You as well.
And Andy Mueller, who we spoke of earlier, who's going to North Carolina to visit his father, is the CEO of Centra Health and has been on the board a little over a year now.
Okay.
And, but we've got a very good working relationship with each person, and it's one of those nonpartisan, non-political boards that we just try to get stuff done. And with Margette and Anna and Melissa and all the other fine folks here in the office, your head will spin when they start getting in and telling you about everything that's going on. But
Okay.
it's a great spin. It's a great
Okay,
head
good.
Anna?
Thank you.
Hi, Pat. I'm Anna Benson. I'm the assistant director for the office. So
Nice
we're
to
really
meet
happy
you.
to have you on board.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can Melissa talk?
I think so.
She's muted.
Yeah,
Well, I've known
Anyway.
Melissa. I've known Melissa for years.
yeah, Melissa
Come in
came
here,
in
Melissa.
yesterday and
Come
she
in
goes,
here.
"I know Pat."
Hold on. Come in here. Take your mask off.
So hi, Pat. It's been a lot
Hi,
of years.
Melissa.
So I've been with the Office of Economic Development and Tourism for 25 years.
Oh, my. Wow.
So I've had the opportunity to work with a number of board members. And
Okay.
And I've seen how it's changed and the direction we're going in there. You'll be excited. I mean, it's different. We've taken on a lot of new projects. So
Okay, looking
all
forward.
I can just say is get ready, because Margette and Anna, they will keep you busy. Now I move at a slow pace, but it's steady.
Good balance.
Yeah. So yeah, welcome aboard. When I saw your
you.
name, I was like, I told Margette, I said, I know her.
Yeah, your dad used to be our postman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alfonso.
Yeah.
All right, Ted.
Pat, hi, I'm Ted Craddock. I'm just the lawyer. I don't have any, I don't have any official capacity.
And our humble lawyer. He's our humble lawyer.
I just try to make sure the authority is doing what it's supposed to do.
Okay, well, thank you. It's nice
Glad to
meeting
see
you.
you.
Ted has actually been around since before there was an Office of Economic Development.
Oh,
When the
my.
Industrial Development Authority was formed, and there wasn't an office there to support it.
Oh,
So the
my.
Office of Economic Development came probably in about 1993
Okay.
for the city, but the authority was formed before that.
1968.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Ted has been here. Ted's institutional knowledge, like Melissa's, is, invaluable to the authority. And we're very
Okay.
fortunate because most authorities they use the city's attorney. They don't have their own.
They have their own.
They don't have their
Understood.
own counsel.
Okay.
Like we do. So we've been around for a long time. The authority's been around for a long time. And as we compare ourselves to other authorities across the state and across the nation, this authority has probably, exercised all of the powers that are given to authorities, right? Like they've been asked to do just about everything or have done everything. As I ride through the city, there's practically no company with any longevity here that hasn't been touched in some way by this authority. It's really quite astounding.
Okay.
How they have been involved, and probably whoever was there could not tell. They don't know an EDA from first base, but that this group has really done a significant amount to support manufacturing and quite a few things within the city. And as Melissa has told you, we don't leave any stone unturned, because everything matters when it comes to creating a resilient and vibrant economy.
Okay. All right.
Pat, I'm going to send you a letter that tells you a little bit about the history of the authority and
Okay.
what it does. I think it'll be helpful to you.
All right.
Yeah.
That'll be great. Thank you. Thank
And
you.
we have a notebook for you, Pat, but we have that electronically as well. There's also a Dropbox that you all have access to, so we'll invite you to that Dropbox. That's where we put we send out a packet, but we put any kind of supporting documents in that Dropbox.
Mhm.
We'll walk you through all of that.
Okay.
These meetings are recorded. All of our meetings are public meetings.
Mhm.
And we put these up on the city's website. So if you were to ever miss anything, we put it on the city's website as well as our website. And our
Okay.
website, we'll send you links to all of that. So
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
you're welcome. And so Kent White is the current Director of Community Development, as well as
Hello.
The deputy.
the interim Deputy City Manager. And he is our boss.
All right.
We're all in here sucking up.
The least knowledgeable of all is sitting right here. So, but I'm fortunate my regular office is next door to the Office of Economic Development and Tourism, so I get to feed off of all that energy. So really
Understood.
look forward to working with you.
Well,
And we'll introduce you to all the rest of the team.
Okay.
Not all of them come to the meeting, but the Office of Economic Development and Tourism is, our office encompasses the tourism efforts of the city, which is 3 other employees, full-time employees. We also, the museum system is under the Office of Economic Development. And as you've just heard, special events within the city is coming under the Office of Economic. So every meeting you come to, it's no telling what they figured out and said.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Well, I'm looking forward to just, stepping right in.
I'm sure you will.
All the
Margette,
stuff to step into, girl.
Pat will be joining, also mention the subcommittees that we have.
Yeah. So we have subcommittees and they usually meet, Pat, right after this meeting, just for convenience sake. You're going to
Okay.
get a parking permit for whenever we can come back together again, for you to be able to park when you come downtown to come to a meeting. And you will get an iPad from us to be able to use, so that it's whatever you're comfortable with, but we have
Okay.
iPads to all the members so that they have that device to be able to use in order to do the work of the authority.
All right.
We will get you all of those things. And the committees that we have are the Finance Committee,
Mm-hmm.
the Incentive Committee, and the Property Committee. So the
Okay.
Economic Development Authority is the city's incentive arm. So they have policies which enable Anna and I to talk with prospects and the business community to let them know, what incentives, both state and local, might be available to them if they are making an investment or creating jobs within the city. And so there's the incentive committee, and then there's the property committee, because the EDA actually owns property. They own the building you work in. The BWXT building at
Mhm,
109 Ramsey Place is, you
mhm.
now own that, Pat.
Okay,
So
okay.
just make sure you tell Rex that you own the building. The building that but the authority is so grateful to BWXT for leasing that building from them. And they
Okay.
own some other property, which all of that'll be in and they can buy and sell property. They've built buildings, they've leased the buildings, they've done all kinds of things that help promote commerce within the city.
Okay.
But those are the three committees. And Mark, is it the property committee?
Yes.
So Pat, you will be under fire, and you will serve on the property committee.
All right.
And every 2 years we try to rotate. So you have exposure to each of the committees. So by the
Okay.
time your 12-year stint is over, you will have enjoyed participation in all three areas.
Okay.
And Margette, that was a perfect segue. The Finance Committee will be meeting right after this meeting. So if you'll stay on the line, and Miss Anna will coordinate all of that. As I mentioned, our next meeting is the 18th of February, the third Thursday in February at 8:30 virtually. Does anyone have any additions, subtractions, deletions to bring to the cause right now? If hearing none, we are officially adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank
Thank you.